Welcome to episode 10 of the Inside Nutley podcast. I'm your host, Tom Greco, and today we are going to discuss the Relay for Life movement, an ongoing fundraising community initiative created to help the American Cancer Society with the nation's biggest health concern, cancer. I'm pleased to be joined by the Township of Nutley Director of the Department of Parks and Public Property, Commissioner Tucci, and Nutley Relay for Life event chair, Dayna Hess. Commissioner, tell us how Relay for Life first came to Nutley.
Okay, so 18 plus years ago, my oldest son came to me and said, "Dad, one of our surrounding communities is running this event that I think would be perfect for Nutley." So I said, "Okay, what is it?" Now, working in the Parks Department, we run many events, many different programs. Okay, he said it's called Relay for Life. I said, "All right, tell me a little more." He said, it's an event that raises money for the prevention of cancer and ultimately the eradication of cancer. I said, "Sounds great." He said, "We all know someone, whether it's a family member or a friend or an associate or just someone you meet in passing, unfortunately that's been stricken by cancer." He said, "I think this is a perfect fit for Nutley." So I totally agreed with that. And we started the planning about a year and a half before that. And having the resources of the Parks Department and having the facilities that we have here in Nutley, it was kind of simple for us because we have parks, we have tracks, we have playgrounds, we have a lot of facilities to utilize to do this. So we formed a small committee, mostly folks from in-house here in the Parks Department, and we started our first Relay for Life in 2007. We held it at Boys Park, and I believe we raised about $35,000, which at the time was, wow, this is fantastic. We raised $35,000 in, little old Nutley here, to help in this whole cancer crusade. So that's how we started.
Please explain what goes into creating a Relay for Life event here in town.
Let's talk globally for a moment. Relay for Life was started in 1985 by a Dr. Gordon Klatt in Tacoma, Washington. We wanted to do something to help cure cancer and raise funds for prevention, detection, support, all right, and to help people get through hard times. So what he did was he walked around a track in Tacoma, Washington for like 87 miles worth and had folks donate and pledge dollars, all right, to help him in his crusade. So mimicking what he did there, Relay for Life has taken off. It's now, I believe, in 20 countries. There are like 4 million people that are involved. They've raised over $5 million for cancer research and ultimately to eradicate cancer in our lifetime. And what we did was we formed a committee, okay, of volunteers here in Nutley. And for Nutley, again, it was a natural because Nutley's founded on volunteerism. Whenever there's a cause or someone in need or something that needs to be done, Nutley people step up, all right, unbelievably, and do what they need to do. So we formed a committee. We used the resources here at Parks and Rec and in the entire township. All of our commissioners, obviously, jumped in to see what we can do. All of our volunteers, we had caregivers, we had cancer survivors, and we just had folks who were interested in getting rid of this dreaded disease, step up, and that's how we started.
What are the mechanisms that go into putting a Relay for Life event together?
Okay, the first thing you need to do is secure a site, okay? So being the Parks Commissioner, that was relatively easy, okay? We started at Boys Park and then we moved to DeMuro Park because, as you know, at DeMuro Park, we have a track. So it was a natural. We have a track, we have a grassy area in the center, we have a grassy area surrounding it, all right? So we were able to have folks set up tents and stay overnight. We had different establishments in town set up different tents for different types of things. And once we had the site, all right, we formed the committee. It's not really a one-day event. It's a year-round event, all right, because the fundraising begins right after the one relay is done. The planning for the next relay goes into effect, all right. Individual teams are created. People participate. They go out and do different things, and they have a lot of leeway as to what they want to do, whether it's, getting a portion of proceeds at a local restaurant, or selling things, or creating crafts and having people buy into those. And then when we get to the event, all right, what happens is individuals and teams walk around the track continuously after having folks pledge dollars, all right, going to the cause, all right, and the event just continues on from beginning until end. There are 3 stages, and when you speak to Dayna will, I'm sure, get into this much deeper. But first, you have the survivor lap, okay, then you have the luminaria ceremony, and then you have the closing ceremony. All right, and you have people like me who get up there and say a few words, give a little bit of the history, so people are grounded as to how this started. And it's a 100% charitable event. All the proceeds from the event go right to the American Cancer Society to help folks in need.
How long does the event last?
When we first started, it was an overnight event. All right, this year the event will start at approximately 6 o'clock and go to 11 o'clock. All right, because of logistical issues, we had to shorten it, but nonetheless, we still raise a considerable amount of money.
When and where will this year's Relay for Life be held?
It'll be held at the Mural Park on May 19th, and it'll run from 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
What kind of participation and feedback do you get from the community?
Well, for those of us who know Nutley and love Nutley, it's unbelievable. The response is awesome. I mean, every year we get more and more people. We get different people. People phase in, people phase out. But it's a tremendous response, and it's what we would expect from Nutley.
How have you seen the event grow over the past decade?
How have I seen it grow? Okay, the number of teams, depending on the year, all right, typically increase. The number of participants increase. We always have an ample amount of survivors. This year, I believe we have 22 survivors who will be participating. We have 18 teams. We have just short of 100 participants. All right, and most of it's word of mouth. You know, Nutley people are inherently good people, and friends of Nutley people are good people. I mean, for a cause like this, you know, there's no politics involved. There's no rivalries. You know, for this cause is such an unbelievable event and an unbelievable mountain that we're climbing to cure this, that people just come from all over. Most of it's word of mouth. We all promote it during the course of the year. You need a great committee, all right, to get things started. And this year, once again, we have an outstanding committee, and leadership is so important, all right, and people need to be invested. Our coordinator this year is Dayna Hess, who you'll hear from in a little bit. Kevin Knight, who's been with us virtually from the beginning and holds the IWF wrestling event here, is once again with us. Janet Halchek, unbelievable people. Brenda Sherman, all great Nutley volunteers and people that are invested in this community and just want to help because they're good people. And last but not least, I can never leave them out, my Parks and Rec department, the men and women that work here who go out of their way to make sure that this event is a success.
Unfortunately, most people have been touched in one way or another through cancer, whether a relative or a friend. But this event, especially here in Nutley, is kind of special in that it makes people feel good. They're doing something great to help others. And a lot of that, or most of that, can be attributed to you and the work that you've done in creating this wonderful tradition in Nutley now. How do you feel about that?
Well, I initiated it, all right? The credit needs to go to the committee, the participants, all right, and everyone else that jumps in. People are very grateful. I mean, like you said, many of us have been touched by this disease, all right, in one way or another. And even for those that haven't been touched, all right, you see what some of the results can be of people that are going through, this disease and trying to get by and having the support and the resources to do that. So it's an unbelievable project. And here in Nutley, it's not even an event. We have many events. We have many programs. This is a movement. This became a movement in Nutley. All right, before we realized that it was a worldwide movement. All right. So it's very gratifying to see our Nutley people, which we kind of expect nothing less from, all right, to do what they do to make this the unbelievable success that it is.
Well, I don't think you give yourself enough credit, Commissioner. You were the leading force behind this.
Well, I started it. My son brought the idea to me, and like we do with many other programs here in Parks and Rec, it's usually a team effort, and that's exactly what this is.
Well, in my over 60 years in Nutley, I've never seen anything like it. And I know you're not going to pat yourself on the back, but I'm going to do it for you.
Well, thank you.
How much has Nutley raised for Relay for Life?
To date, we've raised, let's see, $1,443,000. All right, and for a town just short of 30,000 people, that's pretty remarkable. That is pretty remarkable, and it starts with nickels and dimes from toddlers, to larger donations from some of our corporations, some older businesses and corporations here in town, some newer ones. Um, we have many of our local establishments that are always contributing in one way or another, whether it's hard dollars to go to the research and the prevention, or for folks like Ralph Pizzeria, who sponsors our kickoff dinner since 2008. Billy Giuliano and Dunkin' Donuts right here. Washington and Park, who's been with us from the beginning, providing dessert. Rob Franicola, who provides all of our entertainment and our DJing. I mean, it's just an unbelievable event, and it's a movement that has taken us by storm. I mean, if we didn't have a Relay for Life, people would be looking around saying, "What's missing this year? Something's not right." Okay, Nutley needs to correct itself. That's why, as long as I'm here, and I'm sure even when I'm not here, people will continue this effort because it's an unbelievable effort for one of the greatest causes ever.
What does Paint the Town Purple mean?
Paint the Town Purple is an event where whether it's in front of our high school or on Franklin Avenue, we're raising awareness. Okay, purple is typically the color of Relay for Life, although I know they change it from year to year. This year, I believe it might be magenta, but it's an awareness event, and it's a state of mind so people can focus on what we're doing and why we're doing it. And in the past, we've had some of our stellar citizens like Ann Rotunda in a bus. All right, Dayna has been with us for many years. Heather Soto going back, and some of our other chairpersons. We get together, we go around, we make people aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it, and people respond.
It sounds like this is something very near and dear to your heart.
It is. It is very close to my heart. And when we started this, I had some older family members who were touched by cancer very slightly. But moving forward, I've had two people in my immediate family who've had cancer, my wife and my daughter, and thank God they're survivors, and they're cured, and they're living great, fulfilling lives here in Nutley as great Nutley citizens. And if you're exposed to it, if you're any kind of a caring, loving human being, you have to be moved by it.
Do you have a favorite moment from a Relay for Life event?
Oh, wow. There are so many memories. I'm going to say during the COVID years, when we combined the dedication of the Place of Hope, all right, which is an area in the Mudhole Memorial Park 1, that was designed and constructed in-house here by the men and women of the Parks Department. We had that dedication in combination with the Relay for Life, and we recognized Ann Rotunda and some of our other great Nutley citizens that have been involved in this for years. I'm going to say that's one of them. Just seeing the smiles on people's faces and the hope that this event instills in people is so gratifying. There's really not words strong enough to describe what the feelings are and what the emotions are that are evoked because of what happens at these events.
What are your goals for the future of Relay for Life?
What would I like to see? I'd like to see Nutley raise $10 million a year, all right, which is a very, very lofty goal. I'd like to see continue. All right, I'd like to see it continue. I'd like to see our younger people involved. I'd like us to continue to reach out to different groups because as the town changes, the people change. So we need to indoctrinate people, if you will, and have them join this effort so that it's a perpetual thing here in Nutley.
Commissioner Tucci, thank you for your time. And from the residents of Nutley, thank you for all you do for Relay for Life.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Tom.
I'd like to now welcome to the Inside Nutley podcast the Nutley Relay for Life event chair, Dayna Hess. Welcome, Dayna. Can you tell us how you first got involved with the Relay for Life project?
So going back about 11 or 12 years ago, a friend of mine, Heather, had experienced Relay for Life firsthand herself, and she had recommended to me, understanding that I was very passionate about cancer, having lost both my aunt and my grandmother to lung cancer. It was a very emotional topic for me, and I actually had attended Relay with Heather. I had walked the track that first year, just feeling it out, and actually had done a little bit of fundraising that first year. And actually attending Relay and walking the track, most of all, that first luminaria ceremony, hearing those bagpipes, walking around the track, seeing all of those luminaria lit, understanding that both my aunt and my grandmother could have bags lit, I was hooked. And every year since, I became a participant. As the years grew, I actually became more and more involved. I became part of the Hearts for Cure team. I've been on that team since, even now till 2023. I've actually been a co-chair through the years, and this year, once again, chairing Relay for Life. Very passionate about Relay, very passionate about the American Cancer Society, what it's done, very passionate about fundraising in general, even some of the other organizations within Nutley. It's just very near and dear to my heart.
What's a luminaria?
So luminaria they're pretty much paper lanterns. Actually, I have a couple here, and they so happen to be the two that I make every single year. They are the ones that I make for my aunt and my grandmother. So the night of Relay for Life, what we do is we line the track, and it's a very emotional ceremony. Throughout the relay season, every participant, even whether you actually are part of Nutley Relay for Life or you simply want to purchase a luminaria and donate it in honor of your loved one. It's $10. You can purchase a luminaria in honor of someone that is fighting cancer or perhaps even in memory of a lost loved one. And then we will actually line the track. And then around this year at Nutley's Relay for Life, around 9:30, we will do a luminaria ceremony. Everyone in the audience will get a glow stick, and it's a very emotional ceremony. And we will darken all the lights, and we will walk together. And at that point, we are truly celebrating our survivors. We are remembering those that have lost their lives to cancer, and we are truly fighting back against cancer. And that's really what Relay for Life is all about. So luminaria really are the foundation of what Relay stands for. And it's actually, and really for $10, it's a great way to help raise money for cancer too. And anyone, whether you're part of Relay or you're not, you can actually donate $10 and help raise money for cancer.
Do people do luminaria at just the event, or do they do it at home and other places?
You can make them yourself. You can go online and purchase one, or even if you, for myself, I can send out text messages to people and they can say, okay, I want to purchase one. My friend is fighting cancer. Can you make me one for my friend? And here's $10. It's an easy way to raise money.
Are there other ways to help with the fundraising?
Very simple. So any person that is part of Nutley's Relay for Life, they can fundraise through the fundraising app. There is also the website. There is fundraisers that each team puts together. So many teams will create these Dying to Donates. Many of the different restaurants in town have put together Dine to Donate. So I know several of the teams throughout this whole relay season. I've seen many of the teams throughout the last couple of months. All the teams, we've all gone to the different restaurants. So that's a great way, and 15-20% of the proceeds have gone back to relay. That's a great way, an easy way to raise money. There have been fundraisers where we've created things at different artistic programs. There are ways where you can send out emails. You can ask your friends. There are, raise money per lap. Very specific but easy ways to raise money. Very simply, you can send a text message. You can send an email. But as far as participating too, you can become a participant. You can form a team. You can get a group of people together and together just simply ask. I was amazed when I first became involved with Relay for Life, how many people, when you ask your friends, whether it's your friends you grew up with, your friends you went to college with, your friends you work with, the friends you met in the new town that you moved to, how many people have been affected by cancer? Whether it is someone in your family, someone that they knew, someone that they work with. It is really so far-reaching that really all you have to do is ask.
How does one get involved with the Nutley Relay for Life?
So to get involved with Nutley's Relay for Life, you can actually go right onto the website. It's very simple.
Can you give that to us?
So the Nutley website is relayforlife.org/NutleyNJ. Also, to get involved in any of the Nutley websites or the social pages. So we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter. All of those social pages have links to our websites. And there you can register as a solo participant. If you want to just come, you can actually show up the night of Relay on May 19th. Please, you can just show up at the registration table and just say, you know what, I want to walk the track. I want to become a participant. That's okay. We would love to have you. You do not have to come and have raised money. We would like to just raise awareness. We would love to have you there. If you would like to come and register ahead of time and raise some money, that's wonderful. You can form a team, and you can do that through the website. You can also, for our survivors, and this is a very passionate point of our whole committee, if you are a survivor or you know somebody that is a survivor of cancer, and I should point out too that the American Cancer Society defines survivor as someone from day one of diagnosis. You are a survivor because you're fighting cancer from day one. You're a survivor. So we invite our survivors to attend Relay for Life on May 19th. We are going to have a beautiful survivor tent. We are going to have a full dinner that is provided free of charge from ShopRite, and we thank ShopRite from the bottom of our heart. They've done this for us for years. It's a wonderful night. Please come out. Please spread the word to survivors. Ask them to register online. It's free of charge. They will provide a t-shirt from the American Cancer Society. Come out, join us that night. And again, you can register very simply through the website.
You work closely with the American Cancer Society. Can you give us some examples of how you've seen Relay for Life help those stricken with cancer, as well as survivors and caregivers?
So the American Cancer Society has helped so many survivors and caregivers in many different ways. I've actually had the pleasure through the years to witness it firsthand. Going back several years ago, the committee had the wonderful opportunity to go to New York City to the Hope Lodge. So the Hope Lodge, for just $65, by raising $65 through the American Cancer Society, through Relay for Life, that provides 1 free night's lodging through the American Cancer Society for a survivor or a caregiver. So if you are someone fighting cancer and you need to travel out of state for treatment and you can't afford it, the American Cancer Society will provide those funds for you. And again, these are services that, this is why we relay, this is why we raise money. So we had the wonderful opportunity to go to the Hope Lodge. We cooked dinner. We had the wonderful opportunity to witness the Hope Lodge in action. I will tell you, it's one of the most heartwarming opportunities I've ever had in my life. I will tell you, it was so miraculous to see what the Hope Lodge can do for people. In addition to that, the American Cancer Society, they provide an 800 number. So if you have been diagnosed with cancer and you don't know where to turn, you have a question, you can call the 800 number. This is what raising money does. Research grants, even during the pandemic, millions of dollars were still funded through the American Cancer Society towards research, towards, creating medications, free rides to transportation. If you cannot get yourself to treatment, this is what the American Cancer Society does.
What do you think makes Nutley's Relay for Life so successful?
Nutley makes Nutley's Relay for Life successful. And I can say firsthand that it is 100% the people. Yes, it is the committee, but it's the volunteers. And I don't just mean the committee. It is the people that come out to help. It is the Parks and Recreation Department. I can't tell you what a difference having the Parks and Recreation Department involved in our relay makes. And I can tell you, sitting in all of our committee meetings, when we say that, okay, we need a very specific item for relay, the Parks Department says, okay, yes, we can get that done. So we are always ahead of the curve when it comes to being able to do things a little differently with Nutley's Relay for Life and having the Parks Department behind us. That makes it amazing. But when it comes to putting on things like a survivor tent and having, like I mentioned before, shop right behind us, and looking around an entire survivor tent and seeing survivors and caregivers come together, and then walking around a track full of luminaria, knowing that the people are the ones that put those luminaria together. That's all coming from the people of Nutley. And it's the committee, it's the people, it's the passion. That's what makes the difference. And that's why I'm sitting here today. When we talked about my involvement this year, I knew that I belonged here, and I knew that I could do it because I knew the people that I had to work with. And the committee that I'm working with is unlike no other.
Tell us a little bit about working with Commissioner Tucci.
Did I mention passion? When you talk about Commissioner Tucci and you talk about passion for Relay for Life, you talk about personal passion behind funding a mission, but it's more than the mission for Relay for Life. It's the mission for taking the town of Nutley and doing something for the greater good. It's looking at what a town can do for not only its people, but what a town can do for, like I said, the greater good, but for the American Cancer Society, to make a difference in the world. And to be able to look around that track on May 19th and to say, these people are making a difference. And these people are making a difference. And when you look at all those people that will stand around the track on May 19th, not only are they making a difference, you can see it in their eyes that they're passionate about it. They're there for a reason. They're not there because they purchased a luminary or because they formed a team. It's because it means something to them. And they believe in what the commissioner is doing. They believe in what the commissioner has founded. They believe when he stands up there and he kicks off this event on May 19th, he does it with a passion that's unlike no other. You can go to any other event and you can listen to a committee, but you can hear that the town of Nutley, and there is a person that will always be behind this, that has founded this from the beginning and will take it through the end.
You're a cancer survivor, correct?
I am.
So Relay for Life must be very, very close to your heart.
It is. And actually, I was diagnosed a few years after becoming involved with Relay for Life, having been on the Heart Spirit Cure team. It was pretty interesting. Having heard those 3 words, those dreaded 3 words that I had heard through the grapevine. I heard that there were these 3 words, "you have cancer," that existed. I never thought I would hear them. When you hear them, they do stop you in your tracks. They are life-changing. It is everything that you think they would be. But I am a pretty hard-headed person. I tend to be. And I will say all the time, I am one of the lucky ones. I had the most amazing team of doctors. I use the term that put Humpty back together again. I like to use that term. I am ever thankful for what they did, and now I use a new 3 words: pay it forward. So my mission is to pay it forward. So I stand here because I have to pay it forward, because I've seen so many lives lost, and a lot of lives, even some of our closest friends through Relay, that have not been as lucky, and I have to honor them. And a lot of us that are passionate about Relay feel the same, and a lot of what we do is to honor them.
Do you have a favorite memory from a past Nutley Relay for Life?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. One of them, it's kind of a strange memory. You would think that there's so many, that there's things that are just so, that stand out. One of the memories that was just really stands out to me, it was one of the relays that we were setting up, and it was a very rainy day, and it was a very special relay. It was the 10th anniversary, and it was pouring, and it was one of those relays where you just really hope that it wasn't going to rain. And we were setting up, and everything was just all over the place, and we were up on getting everything set up on stage, and we just had gotten everything ready. And as Relay was about to start and the music started to walk, the sun broke through the clouds as the music started, just as we started to walk the first lap. And I don't know, there was just something about it, like things were just meant to be. And sometimes I think there is, for me, sometimes that's that little light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes that tells me that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And sometimes that tells me that that's why I'm here. And sometimes that's just enough for me.
What are your goals for the future of Relay for Life in Nutley?
It's very similar to what the commissioner said. It's to keep it going. I think what I'm excited to see this year is the renewed energy in the youth of Nutley. In particular, we've had a few teams of a couple of the elementary school children, very engaged, very involved, raising thousands of dollars out in the community, flocking some of the houses. You'll actually see them out and about. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see the youth involved. I remember when my children were young, they had their own teams, and now they're in college. So it's kind of seeing that come full circle. And it's part of that is to see new volunteers getting involved. And, you know, as we go through this process, is to try and get new volunteers coming out and trying to get more youth involved and trying to get that re-engagement. Now that we're post-pandemic, it's getting that back to basics, getting that renewed energy in Relay, and getting that next generation involved. Because there's so much excitement behind it this year. I can feel it again, and I can feel that, you know, we're beyond the pandemic. We're here. It's here again, and it's exciting, and I think we're on the upswing again, and there's a lot of great things ahead.
You brought something along to show us, I see.
Well, we have Janet to thank for this. She's extremely creative, and this Give Cancer the Boot has gone many places with us. It was actually outside ShopRite, And we are proud to say that this year is all about giving cancer the boot.
Dayna, thank you for joining the Inside Nutley podcast this month, and thank you for all you do for Nutley's Relay for Life program.
Thank you, my pleasure.